And welcome back to the Daily Wrap. It is potluck time. This is the part of the show where we go around the table and share our favorite stories of the day. Heather Hansen, you did the cooking tonight. What do you got for us?
Well, you know, we've talked so much in months and years past about what's going on at the VA and all the problems with the VA and the waiting lines and the people who died because they were put on secret waiting lists because there wasn't enough. Well, this week, someone was finally indicted. There was a man named Cathedral Henderson who worked in Georgia, not Phoenix, which is where most of these problems sort of started. And he was indicted on 50 counts of for closing out requests by falsely declaring them completed. So just the type of thing that we've been talking about with what happened in Phoenix. Finally, somebody is facing criminal indictments for this. Now, they asked the people in Phoenix whether or not we were going to see something similar there, and the investigators would neither admit or deny that there are other indictments coming down there. We know these lists are continuing. We know that things are not improving in the VA. Do you think that these indictments are going to make a difference in the overall culture there?
No, but you know what I think will make a difference is all of us talking about this story. Right. Because one of my biggest concerns, look, you know, I know I'm supposed to be the liberal and all that, but when it comes to veterans' rights and care for our veterans, I really do care about this. This is important to me. I've been writing about it for years. I've been talking about it for years. Last year, it got a lot of press when the scandal hit the you-know-what. Right. And then, like all stories, it goes away. And this has not been fixed. In fact, it's getting worse.
Well, and that's why I was so surprised. I saw this story in the LA Times, and someone's finally being indicted. Something's finally happening, and yet there were only 5 comments.
Well,
it's
Rick,
shocking.
Let me put your conscience at ease, if I may. There is nothing illiberal about being concerned about the care of our veterans.
I don't think so either, but I hear that a lot.
But let me say this. While the VA is a huge bureaucracy, and there will be people in any large bureaucracy who perform poorly, the fundamental problem there is one of resources, right? We have had a huge influx of new vets
misuse of resources,
who have all kinds of issues, physical and psychological, and we don't pay enough for it. We got to pay more for it and give them the treatment they deserve.
With that.
But there's so much waste. I mean, it's a misuse of resources. It's similar to the gun control argument, where you've got all this money, but it's being spent poorly. I think that there's got to be a real. Maybe they do need more money, Ellis, but I don't think they even know what they need the money for. I think that there's so many issues with the way that the bureaucracy is there, the left hand not knowing what the right hand is doing, and then therefore you have the ability for people to act criminally because there's no alternative.
And
there's
no one looking at it. A lot of really good, hardworking, decent people in there struggling to give care under very difficult circumstances.
You don't want to shoot the people who are doing a great job. That's not the problem. The problem is, as you both are right in my estimation, there's a misuse of resources and there's not enough. You have to have the doctors.
The VA system, is like, it's like roaches, right? You can't just treat, or termites, you can't just treat one part of it in a house and expect one board and expect it to go away. You got to treat the whole house and eradicate. I said that same thing about ISIS. The VA system, the system itself is broken. It transcends presidents. It transcends Democrat and Republican. It's a broken system, and we need to bring people in that know how to fix and simplify this ginormous waste of money that is killing people and declaring some dead when they're not dead.
Well, I would say the greatest thing that the president could do for his legacy is to use the time he has left to really take this on. You know, our obligation to the veterans is our #1 commitment in this country.
For a guy that didn't lower the flag for 5 days,
well,
I don't
we're
think
not
he's probably going to do that.
We probably don't disagree on whether he should have lowered the flag or not, but we'll get to that later, because now we are going to read some of your viewer comments, and we begin with C.D. Zamora, who writes, "The NRA has always supported gun laws that prevent criminals and the dangerously mentally ill from possessing guns. What we will fight against are laws that violate Second Amendment rights to lawfully possess firearms without government infringement. Criminal and the insane should never possess firearms. Enforce the laws already written." Guys,
except they oppose the background checks that will allow us to figure out whether someone falls into that category.
Yeah.
So they're empty words.
The issue on the background checks, when you match it to the criminally insane, or however you want to put it, I agree with you. If you got, like this guy, sadly, in Louisiana, he had been committed. There should be a way to trace that. On the other hand, we all agree that just going to see a psychiatrist, you can't have a record. Let's move on to the next. Mr. Trump is saying exactly exactly, and by the way, this is from Henry Holland. Mr. Trump is saying exactly what I would say if I was running for the presidency. There has been too much political correctness in our government and the politicians that are running it. I want to hear the truth, and I care less about the tone. I will support this man as long as he continues to speak out about the failures of our present leaders and politicians. And Ellis is sitting there saying,
Me
you
too.
go, baby.
Run, Donald,
You
run.
go.
This next
All
one's
right,
my
quickly
lady.
from Kim, regarding Trump, if he is a real conservative concerned about righting the current wrongs of our country, why has he not said one negative thing about Hillary or O'Malley? He constantly bashes fellow Republicans and conservatives who have the same goals. I'm going to cut it off there because we're running out of time, but that was a good one. We like that
like that
one.
lady.
That somebody who's, well, I'm not going to editorialize. Coming up next, time for Yay or Nay. This is the Daily Wrap.